the shadow that shouldn't exist. At exactly 11:42 a.m., the sunlight vanished. It didn't dim like a passing cloud or fade like an approaching storm. It was simply gone. 1 second the world was bright and alive, and the next it was swallowed by a darkness so complete it felt unnatural, like reality itself had been switched off. People looked up. Everywhere. In cities and villages, on highways and rooftops. Billions of eyes turned toward the sky, searching for an explanation their minds refused to accept. And then they saw it. Something enormous. At first it was just a shape, an outline darker than the darkness around it. But as eyes adjusted, its true scale began to reveal itself. The object stretched across the sky like a second horizon, a massive structure that blocked out the sun entirely. It wasn't just above one city or one country. It covered everything. Panic came next. Phones lit up with messages. News channels scrambled for answers. Scientists shouted over one another in control rooms across the globe. Satellites tried to capture images, but many had already gone silent, as if the presence above Earth had disrupted them. Within minutes, the internet was flooded with theories. A solar anomaly, a secret military weapon, the end of the world. But deep down, everyone felt the same truth creeping into their thoughts. This wasn't human. In Rawalpindi, 17-year-old Zayan stood frozen on the rooftop of his home, his heart pounding so loudly he could hear it in his ears. He had been scrolling on his phone moments earlier, watching random videos when the light disappeared. Now his phone screen reflected the sky above him, and even that looked wrong, like the camera itself couldn't process what it was seeing. His younger sister called out from behind him, her voice shaking. "Pipe, what is that?" Zayan didn't answer. He couldn't, because the object wasn't just sitting there anymore. It was moving. Slowly, silently, it shifted across the sky. As it moved, parts of its surface flickered with faint blue light, revealing intricate patterns like circuits or veins running across its metallic skin. It looked alive in a way that made his stomach twist. Then something even worse happened. A section of the colossal structure opened. Not like a door, more like an eye. A circular gap formed, glowing from within. The light wasn't bright, but it pulsed rhythmically, like it was scanning the planet below. Zayan felt an overwhelming urge to hide, even though he knew it was useless. Across the world, people screamed. Some dropped to their knees. Others ran indoors as if walls could protect them from something that covered the entire sky. Emergency sirens began to wail, their sound echoing through cities already drowning in fear. Zayan's phone buzzed violently in his hand. Notifications stacked on top of each other faster than he could read them. Global emergency declared. Stay indoors immediately. Unknown object detected. Notification stood out. A live broadcast had just started. Without thinking, he tapped it. The screen showed a trembling news anchor, her voice barely steady as she spoke. "We are receiving confirmed reports from multiple governments. This object is not natural. It is not human-made. We repeat, it is not from Earth." Zayan felt the world tilt beneath him. Not from Earth. The words echoed in his mind as he slowly looked back up at the sky. The glowing opening above seemed larger now, brighter, as if it had noticed them noticing it. And for the first time in human history, Earth realized it was not alone. If this moment already has you hooked and you want to see what happens next, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next chapter of this story, because what comes next will change everything humanity thought it knew about the universe. The light in the sky pulsed once more, and then something began to emerge. The first descent. The thing that emerged from the glowing opening was not a ship, at least not in any way humans understood. At first it looked like a drop of liquid light, slowly stretching itself out of the massive warship above. It shimmered as it descended, changing shape constantly, like it couldn't decide what it wanted to be. Then as it moved closer to Earth, it began to solidify, and that's when the terror truly began. Across the globe, every screen broadcasting the event zoomed in. Cameras struggled to focus, glitching as if the object interfered with their systems. But the image became clear enough. It was massive, far larger than any aircraft ever built. Its surface was smooth and reflective, but not metallic. It looked organic, almost like a living creature frozen into the shape of a vessel. Strange lines pulsed beneath its surface, glowing faintly with the same eerie blue light seen on the warship. In Rawalpindi, Zayan's hands trembled as he held his phone closer to his face. The live broadcast switched angles, now showing military jets scrambling into the sky. "They're going to attack it," his sister whispered. Zayan shook his head instinctively. "No, they're just watching." But even as he said it, one of the jets broke formation. A missile launched. The world seemed to hold its breath. The missile streaked upward, cutting through the darkened sky, heading straight for the descending object. For a brief moment, hope flickered. Maybe it could be stopped. Maybe humanity still had control. The missile made contact and vanished. No explosion, no sound. It simply disappeared as if it had never existed. A chilling silence spread across every channel, every street, every home. Then the object reacted. The glowing patterns across its surface intensified, spreading like veins lighting up under its skin. The air around it began to distort, rippling like heat waves. Zayan felt a sudden pressure in his chest, making it hard to breathe. "What's happening?" his sister cried. He didn't know. No one did. A deep hum filled the air. It wasn't loud, but it vibrated through everything. Through the ground, through buildings, through bones. People covered their ears, but it didn't help. The sound wasn't just heard. It was felt. Across the world, electronics began to fail. Phones shut down mid-broadcast. Cars stalled in the middle of roads. Entire cities flickered as power grids collapsed one after another. Zayan's phone screen went black. "Zayan!" his sister shouted, grabbing his arm. He looked up just in time to see the object stop descending. It hovered there, suspended in the sky just above the city. And then, it changed again. Segments of its body shifted, folding and unfolding like something mechanical yet alive. Openings appeared along its surface, each one glowing faintly. Something was inside them. Shapes, moving. Zayan's heart dropped. "They're not sending just one," he whispered. As if responding to his words, dozens of smaller objects shot out from the vessel. They moved fast, faster than anything human made, streaking across the sky in different directions. Some disappeared into the distance. Others headed straight down. One of them was coming toward Rawalpindi. People began to run. Screams echoed through the streets below as the object grew larger and larger, its speed increasing as it descended. Zayan grabbed his sister's hand and pulled her toward the stairway. "We have to go inside now." But before they could move, a blinding flash lit up the sky. They both turned back. The smaller craft had stopped mid-air just above the city. It hovered silently, its glowing patterns pulsing in sync with the massive warship still, blocking the sun. For a moment, everything was still. Too still. Then a beam of light shot down from the craft, striking the ground somewhere in the distance, and the screaming got louder. If you think this is where the story gets intense, you haven't seen anything yet. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next chapter, because what just landed on Earth is not here to observe. It's here for something far more terrifying. And in that moment, Zayan realized something that made his blood run cold. They weren't being invaded. They were being chosen. The selection. The beam didn't burn. It didn't explode. It didn't destroy anything the way people expected. It lifted. From miles away, Zayan could see it clearly now. The glowing column of light touched the ground, and within seconds, objects began to rise into it. Cars, debris, pieces of buildings, and people. His breath caught in his throat. "No," his sister whispered, her grip tightening around his arm. Figures floated upward, their bodies suspended as if gravity had simply let go of them. Some struggled, kicking and screaming. Others hung motionless, frozen in terror. The beam carried them higher and higher until they vanished inside the hovering craft. Zayan felt something deep inside him crack. "Taking them," he said, his voice barely audible. Across Rawalpindi, chaos erupted. Families ran into the streets calling out names, trying to pull loved ones away from the invisible force. Some succeeded for a moment, only for the pull to grow stronger, tearing people from their grasp. There was no pattern, no warning. The beam shifted suddenly, sweeping across another area. More people were caught, lifted helplessly into the sky. The craft above remained silent, emotionless, as if this was routine, as if humanity were nothing more than samples. Zayan pulled his sister toward the stairway again. "We can't stay here. We have to get inside, underground, anywhere it can't reach us." But even as he said it, doubt crept into his mind. How do you hide from something that can block out the sun? They rushed downstairs, their footsteps echoing through the house. Their parents were already inside, panic written across their faces as the power flickered and died completely. "What is happening?" his mother cried. Zayan didn't answer. He couldn't find the words. Another deep hum rolled through the air, stronger this time. The walls vibrated. Glass rattled. For a moment it felt like the entire planet was shaking. Then everything stopped. The silence that followed was worse than the noise. Zayan slowly stepped toward the window. The beam was gone. The smaller craft still hovered above the city, but its glowing patterns had dimmed. It looked still, watching, waiting, and then suddenly every screen in the house flickered back to life. The television turned on by itself. Zayan and his family stared as a single image appeared. Not a human face, not anything familiar. It was a shifting form made of light and shadow, constantly changing shape. Its voice came not through sound, but directly into their minds, clear and undeniable. A message. "We are not your destroyers." Zayan felt his heart pounding as the words echoed inside his head. "We are your judges." Across the world, billions heard the same message at the exact same moment. You have been observed, studied, measured. Images flashed across the screen. Wars, pollution, cities burning. Oceans filled with waste. Humanity at its worst. Zayan's chest tightened. You have reached a threshold. The images changed. Kindness, rescue, love, sacrifice, strangers. Helping strangers in moments of despair. His eyes widened. You are divided. The presence paused as if considering something beyond human understanding. Those who were taken are not lost. Zayan's sister gasped softly. They have been chosen. The word sent a chill through every living soul on earth. For preservation. The room felt colder. The truth settled in like a weight too heavy to bear. They will begin again. Mind raced. Begin again where? But the answer came before he could finish the thought. Your world will not. Outside, the massive warship pulsed with light brighter than ever before. The darkness it cast seemed heavier now, suffocating. A countdown appeared on every screen. 10, 9. Zayan grabbed his sister's hand, his heart racing. 8. Around the world, people screamed, prayed, ran. 7. There has to be something we can do, his mother cried. 6. Zayan looked up at the sky one last time. 5. The ship glowed like a second sun. 4. And for a brief moment he understood. 3. This was never an invasion. 2. It was a reset. 1. And then everything turned white.